4,410 pounds, a 24JS Gray Wolf from the Cherokee Group, landing here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan. What does JS stand for? Well, just super, I think, of course. Splendiferous? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Point is, what we have here is an awesome, highly equipped couples camper for someone who wants something with no slides. They want simplicity, but they want nice things. That's exactly who this thing is for right here. Now, the changes in this generation compared to the previous 24JS are very subtle, but very impacting. They've made some small improvements that have a really big impact on kind of the overall look and feel and function of the RV. Everything that really matters, though, they've always been very good at nailing that kind of stuff. Now, they have a, this is called an open concept, where you don't necessarily have a full privacy wall. You do have a little sleeper curtain here, but the idea behind this thing is that most of the time it's a couple's camper. And they want it to look and feel as large as possible while actually being as small and simple as possible. And they do it very well. And also, since it has no slides, that means it's a completely carpetless, ventless floor plan. So it's easy cleaning, great, you know, it's good against spills or pets or clumsy husbands like myself, whatever. All the windows over here in the kitchen area open for breeze, and you can see plenty of easy reach household outlets there next to that sealed edge press membrane countertop. And kind of like the Catalinas that we have here at Haylet RV, you'll find our Cherokees have, you know, the same kind of countertops used throughout the RV, not just the kitchen, as is the case with some manufacturers, but through the entire, like the bathroom, the dining table, all over the place. One of the only major updates that they applied here is the swap to that 10.7 cubic foot 12 volt DC compressor fridge. And if you're not familiar with what that means, it is 67% larger basically than it used to be. This RV has significantly more cold storage. It's always travel friendly. I don't care where you are, where you live. Some states are like, you can use propane in transit. Some states are like, no, no, no. Everybody can use that fridge in transit, and it's bigger, and it cools freaking fast. We're only like 58 minutes from the shipping yards here at Haylet RV. That's one of the benefits of our facility, is that we're so local to the manufacturers that when you buy from Haylet RV, you're not paying for RV shipping costs, basically. And these things, when they come in, they are ice cold. Now, the kitchen arrangement largely has stayed the same. However, they've given it a little bit more eye appeal with a hashtag smexy black stainless sink. It still has that high-rise kind of spring-loaded sprayer faucet. You've got the tempered glass stove, plus that sink cover that I've popped out of the way to give this thing some good prep space when you need it. But when you have big stuff to wash, you can actually get bigger pots and pans in here, and it just has that sort of great kind of almost like a matte gunmetal kind of finish to it. It just looks fantastic. Place for a little wastebasket down there. Not massive, but big enough. And a couple plywood drawers. But notice they use 2 big ones instead of like 2 or 3 small ones. So that things like spatulas are not nearly as inclined to kind of block you from getting into your drawers. You ever have a spatula shift? It's just annoying. Another kind of unseen thing, like previously, they always had their buttons and switches and everything up here on the side of the overhead cabinet, but they've recently consolidated it into one centralized command center. The other thing, though, is when they did that, it's basically a hidden version of the LCI One control. What that means in English is that you can get a free app for your Android or iPhone, and you can hook your phone up to your control panel, and you can operate your water heater, your slides, your lights, your awnings. Well, not slides on this floor plan, but you get the idea. You don't have to do that. You still just have, if you're like, nope, I like buttons. I don't want to do stupid technology. You don't have to, but they've given you the option of doing that. Now, since this is a no-slide model, instead of accent lights above the slide, they actually put accent lights in the speakers overhead there. You could turn that lighting off, though, if you're not into the blue thing. And as long as we're looking up here, I do want to point out that this is centralized air. It is very common. Not 100%. I'm not saying this is the only brand that does it. I'm not a snake oil salesman. But it is very, very common for RV manufacturers to make no-slide models like this to try to be ultra price sensitive. I kind of feel penny-wise and pound-foolish that they will build them with non-centralized air. Obviously, Cherokee doesn't do that, because if they're in for a penny, they're in for a pound. Now, I'm standing at the position of the sofa currently, and you can see the TV hookups over there, and they are directly facing the sofa or the bed. And by not having that enclosed privacy wall, if you choose to add a TV to this RV, it works during the day or night. Now, another really neat thing up here is if you look, you can see, oh, sure, there's TV hookups, but one of them is an HDMI plug. So that if you choose to do something like expand your entertainment center or add a little Roku or Amazon Fire Stick to the Bluetooth stereo system over here, which wouldn't you know it also has face-mounted HDMI and powered USB plugs to run one of those little sticks, you've got a good spot for it. Plus, anywhere that you sit or sleep in Cherokee campers, they're very good about giving you plenty of outlets to be able to run whatever. Basically anything you can imagine. And notice here, since this is a full Grey Wolf and not an SE series, you're also going to get loaded up with just a ton of USB plugs. Big campsite viewing window there overlooking our 4-person dinette. So it's a couples camper, but has good kind of guest entertainment space, as well as good guest sleeping capacity. Which is probably one of the times you're really going to enjoy that big pull-down privacy shade you have on that window right there. If you do have a guest, and admittedly, these are smaller sleeping spaces. These are good for, like, big dogs and small kids. But the fact is, like, let's say it's more of a grandpa and grandma situation, or if you're a younger family and you just have smaller kiddos, you can see that you have sleeper seat space right here. And that is one of those times in which that privacy shade right there will really come in handy. But what's great is the seats also have storage. They just don't waste an ounce of space in these things. Now over here, part of the under sofa area is actually occupied by the furnace, but you see that you still have a handy little storage trunk. And it's not a magic trick. I didn't jimmy rig the sofa or anything like that. I guess actually the proper phrasing of that is jury rig the sofa, although I hear people say jerry rig all the time. It doesn't matter. This is not an English lesson. I'm on a tangent. Point is, if you put the sofa in like a V, it'll hold itself right there. So it's actually still pretty easy to get to. And then kind of like when you fold down the dinette for a sleeper position, you see that you can just kind of open it right up and enjoy some extra storage space right there. Now, this isn't stuff you're going to want to get into every single day. This is occasional use stuff, but the fact is, it is there and it is available. Now, I purposely wanted to leave this bathroom door closed right here because it showcases the new automatic bathroom lighting that these Cherokee RVs have. Did you see that kick on right there? It has a little motion sensor, and the motion sensor itself is a light, but that motion sensor will also activate the overhead lighting that we see up here. Now, if you wanted to, you could just have that turned off so that the motion light just kind of acts like a little bit of a night light for you. And it gives you a good light, but it's not like super hard, bright LED light. So if you do come in here at night to use the bathroom, it'll make all these white surfaces and light surfaces glow just enough you'll be able to see without like really getting harsh blinded by it. Now notice that we've got a foot flush stool with plenty of legroom here, and our shower has full surround paneling as well as a skylight. Now as we're looking up top here, also notice that just like all these other Cherokee RVs, they come with those nicer Max Air vent fans to give you some really, really good airflow in here, which is actually the reason things like the bathroom door are slotted. So that if you are dry camping and you just want to get a fresh breeze coming in through that dining window, you don't necessarily, you don't have to run other fans or air conditioners or something like that to get fresh air moving around the RV. Now there's, like I said, plenty of room to stand in here to get dressed, more of that sealed edge counter stuff around that extra large adult size sink right there. And beside this big medicine cabinet, above the outside camp kitchen, which we'll see in a minute, you can see we have ourselves a big chunk of extra generic storage space here. So if you want to pack heavy, tow small, and have an RV that's surprisingly well equipped, yet lightweight and more affordable than what you'd imagine, well, this RV qualifies for all of those things. Now we've seen that sofa down and we've seen it opened up for storage, but I realized we never just saw it in like daytime mode, and I thought, you know, I bet folks would like to see that. One of the other things this floor plan does, like if it's a nice kind of spring, summer, fall day or whatever, and you're going to be outside a lot, you pop open and you start using that screen door, and you've got some awesome campsite visibility over here on this RV between that big dining window, the screen door, and that extra large viewing window there for the front bedroom area. Now note, the windows here, like across from that sofa, that'll open for airflow. The intention there is that if you're going to use that window, you're probably using the screen door, and you can get some sweet cross breeze right here. And up front, with that privacy curtain out of the way, let's take a little bit more of a look at the actual master bedroom area. You can see how both closets have a full-length mirrored wardrobe, which is another thing that makes the whole RV look and feel bigger, and there's no sharp corners since they're a full-length wardrobe. They're not going to gash you in the shoulder. Additionally, we have a full overhead cabinet. What's nice about that compared to just a shelf is that you can actually pack it and let it travel down the road, as opposed to a shelf which you just have to put stuff on when you get there. And both sides of the bed have both household and USB plugs, so it doesn't matter where you're sitting, where you're sleeping, what your situation is, you've always got something you can plug into. And all of the USB plugs actually are powered directly from the battery, just like the lights and fans, so they're always boondock capable. And if you've noticed, Cherokee's made a couple smart improvements like that refrigerator, a few things here and there, but really they haven't changed the Colonel's secret recipe this season, and I'm plenty happy for that. These things have been doing well, and the more consistent a product stays, the higher the quality I tend to see out of it, meaning fewer hiccups and fewer things back in the shop. As these RVs come in, we go through and we do a surface level inspection before they go in through the shop for a full burn, and we don't charge you extra for that kind of stuff, by the way, at Haylett RV. We've noticed the Cherokee group has been coming in cleaner and cleaner, more and more problem-free just about every single time, because they've really got not just their features down, they've got the build down. They've been doing it right, they've been doing it long enough that it's like second nature to them at this point. And anytime you see major product updates, it often includes a little hiccup wave, and you're not seeing any of that here. These guys are just dialed in. Power awning, power tongue jack. We'll talk a little bit more about the awning as we go. But up front here, behind that enclosed propane tank, you see how the tongue of this RV is actually integrated into the chassis. That's a neat little indicator right there that this rides on a custom engineered chassis. And what that means in English is this has a normal RV interior height, but it has a reduced RV exterior height because the entire body of the RV is basically mounted 6 inches lower than it could have been. That means a lower overall exterior height, lower clearance. It means lower center of gravity, lower towing, lower ground clearance, easier in and out, not so many steps. It means a lot of things. So that custom chassis there, it's easy to overlook, but it has quite the impact. We do like to build these with enclosed holding tanks. It's not necessarily a full underbelly enclosure, but the holding tanks, which is probably the area I think most people are the most concerned about, those get an extra layer of protection the way that we build them here at Haylett RV. Full outside utility shower at this price point in a basic no-slide camper. Very often those are the kind of things you're going to be missing, but once again, this is a high equipment package trailer. It's kind of a little bit of a transformer, like a robot in disguise, you know. It looks like a simple entry-level camper, but it has, like the black flush, the outside shower, all the upgraded equipment that you'd find on a lot of like very expensive laminated trailers, all wrapped into something here that's far more budget friendly. Still has a fully walkable roof with 3/8 inch roof decking, 16-inch on center roof trusses, pretty much 16-inch on center studs all the way around, although on average Cherokee sidewalls do tend to come a little bit closer to 12 inches on average, because sometimes they have a double stud here and there where they need it, so I think it kind of just skews the math on that from time to time. We are backup camera ready, and you can see that 200-pound rated cargo rack with the optional spare tire that we like to put on these at Haylett RV. This is like cough medicine. I hope you never ever need it. But in the event that you have a dark cloud take over your camping trip, meaning a flat tire, I think you're going to really appreciate having that silver lining of a spare tire available for you. And the campsite of this RV is just loaded with stuff. It starts right back here with the handy little leash latch, which is also very useful for maybe keeping your like lawn chairs and stuff tied up in case it's a little bit of a windy day. Make sure they don't go flying off your campsite. Like when you see the storms, like the heavy winds pick up a trampoline and launch it across a subdivision or whatever. Now the little outside camp kitchen convenience center they have right here, it's really condensed, but really feature packed, kind of like the whole campsite of this RV. First of all, you have what's basically an outside shower, but effectively functioning as your outdoor sink, and you can use that to keep your ice maker up and running, and that thing pumps out some serious ice. Actually, I've had clients in very hot weather climates report that that thing has held up well. So the 10.7 cubic foot fridge inside plus the door and fridge outside gives this RV over 12 cubic foot of cold storage, which rivals a luxury fifth wheel, and in point of fact actually is more than many of them. You have just a crap ton of refrigerator space in these now. You can see I've popped the awning out right here. There's LED lighting below it and accent lights in the speakers. Plus, these are 2-finger easy tilt awning arms right here. And what I mean by that is you take 2 fingers and you easily tilt the awning arms, and it'll hold itself right there. It goes back up just as easily. And if you forget that it's cranked and you roll the awning in, it won't break. It'll just sort itself right back out. Especially handy on a rainy day when you still want to utilize that breeze window right here. And below that window is a set of outside TV hookups if you're so inclined. Now, a neat little thing they do here, right on their tires, they have these tire pressure indicator caps right on their valve stem. So if that flips from green to red, you don't even have to go get the tire gauge. You just know that you need to put some air in it. The stable steps, Cherokee was the first group to standardize these in this class and segment. And ever since then, you've watched just about everybody else jump on that bandwagon, which doesn't offend me. I like those things. And they keep the rocking and rolling out of the RV. Plus, you see that you have that larger entry handle and anti-slam door right there. And finally, up front here, just beside this little solar prep plug, and I'm right next to a truck exhaust. It's a little bit loud, so pardon me. But we've got a huge space here for things like grills, for things like solar panels, for things like campsite chairs. And then there's the little stuff. Cherokee will hit any sort of exposed woodwork around their baggage doors with an anti-wicking treatment, because if you open that baggage door, if it's like early morning and there's a lot of condensation on that door, it'll tend to dribble a little bit. And they want to make sure that wood doesn't get compromised over time or stained or anything. They want this thing to look good in year 1 and year 10. And that's what's really cool about Cherokee RVs. If you think about it, there's a lot of other really cool things on a lot of other RVs. Like there's RVs that have longer warranties, but warranties expire. Upgraded countertops, the stable steps, the features on this RV, the value of this RV is built into things that do not expire. And that is one of the coolest things about the whole Cherokee group of RVs that you'd find here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. So if that sounds good, give us a call, because we do it all with the exception of hidden dealer fees. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.